Ball State Sports Links Driven is proudly presented by Stoops Automotive. Online at stoopsauto.com.
I could just feel that Coach Witt, what he was telling me was the truth. I could just feel it.
She will tense up and she'll fall, and then she'll start seizing and she'll start like foaming at the mouth, turning blue, like there's no oxygen.
It's been a while since we've last talked. It's great to be back on the set here in Studio B for 2015. Welcome to Ball State Sports Links Driven, where we look at the best stories in Ball State sports. I'm your host, Connor Onion. Let's dive right in as our first story profiles a guy who's been a staple in the Ball State backcourt the last 2 years. While his path hasn't always been clear, our Out of the Shadows crew takes a look at the growth of Xavier Turner and his relationship with Coach Whitford.
I would say that I am a competitive player, somebody that wants to be the best that they could possibly be. On the court, I've been working on that off the court. You know, sometimes goofy, sometimes serious, sometimes too serious. Somebody that likes to compete, you know, all 40 minutes, exciting, you know, competitive, flashy, whatever you want to call it. That's just the playing style that I've, you know, grew up around, and, you know, coming up, you know, watching other point guards like Allen Iverson, and even playing in kids in my area in Marion County. You know, the point guards there, we all kind of have a similar game to each other.
He's the ultimate competitor. I mean, he really, really wants to win. And when the game's on the line, he's always going to leave it all on the floor.
Probably at the beginning of 8th grade, I started really getting interest from the collegiate level. I had shoe boxes, like a lot of shoe boxes, trash bags. They began to become trash bags once I knew I was going to Ball State. Just the opportunity to come in my freshman year and, you know, play the type of playing style that, you know, was promised to me, the playing time that was promised to me. You know, obviously they had a coaching change, and so I was looking elsewhere. Coach Witt called me.
When I got the job, I talked to Xavier and Xavier's family right away, and one of the person I reached out to was Justin Cage. Justin played for me at Xavier, and I have incredible respect for Justin, and Xavier grew up across the street from each other.
You know, Justin Cage called me and told me that, you know, this is a coach you want to play for. He, you know, has all the intangibles to get you to the next level.
One of the things you're looking for in recruiting is trust, and Xavier didn't know me, but he known Justin his whole life.
You know, I could just feel that Coach Witt, what he was telling me was the truth. I could just feel it.
Part of our growth with Xavier has been trying to make sure he understands the importance of weightlifting or skill in May and June, and the attention to detail. And I'd say as a young player, he hasn't always connected the importance of doing the little things right in May and June and how that relates to the games in October, November, December. It's when the lights are on, he's the ultimate competitor, and for him to become the best player he can be, he's got to have the lights on year-round, whether they're on or off on the game floor or Worthington Arena. But he's a really talented player, and he's very, very bright, picks things up on the court, understands our style of play, and the biggest jump he's made from a freshman is his ability to use pick and rolls. A year ago, he was really a score-first point guard, and still is a little bit to an extent. But he's getting better at getting other guys shots and using pick and rolls in a way to create rotation and for the other players, and his continued growth in that area is what's going to allow him to reach his potential.
You know, court vision is probably, you know, one of the things that I've always had coming up. It just came instinctively. I like to throw a lot of no looks because it sets the defender, you know, it throws the defenders off.
What Xavier has been in the past is like a home run hitter as a passer. You know, sometimes holding the ball too long and either making a great play or the turnover, the parallel to a quarterback who throws a lot of long passes and throws a lot of touchdowns, but a lot of interceptions too. And trying to teach him to make the simple plays as much as he makes the home runs, and continue to get his assist to turnover ratio in the right direction. He's really done that the last couple games, and being able to make the checkdowns, make the simple plays, put the defense in rotation, create for others, let others create for him. That's what allows him to be his best and us to be our best.
I think we're in a good place. We're grinding every day, every day in and day out. We know that it's not going to be an easy road to the MAC championship, but we're playing for Cleveland every game. Every game we play for Cleveland, every practice we're playing for Cleveland. So that's really where our head is set. We're still taking it one game at a time, but we know what our goals are. Everybody here knows what they want to do with this season and with this team, and we're constantly working hard day in and day out to get better every day.
As the quarterback of the Ball State offensive attack, Xavier's numbers have been pretty impressive through 18 games. First in the team in assists, facilitating the offense, also getting to the basket as well and shooting at a high percentage. He's second on the team in scoring as well. Really been aided by the return of Jeremiah Davis. He missed the first 10 games of the season, but he's been back, and he's been a great backcourt mate for Xavier Turner from then on out. Ball State started their conference season with 2 signature wins on the road in overtime against Eastern Michigan and then at home against Central Michigan to start off 2015 with a 2-0 record in conference play. Only up from here for Xavier Turner, only a sophomore, Mid-American Conference Freshman of the Year as well. Great job by our Oots crew for giving you that story. Next, we'll stay on the hardwood, but how about the start for Ball State men's volleyball? They started their non-conference slate off with a bang as well with a 5-1 record. They beat the number 10 team in the country as well, the Penn State Nittany Lions, and it wasn't easy either. They came back down 2-0 and won in 5 sets. Now they've moved on to MIVA play, and to preview the season, Caitlin Young and Nick Panazzo caught up with Iago Garchette and Joel Walton.
The 2015 Ball State men's volleyball team is off to a great start, but this season is very different from last season.
We graduated Graham McElvain, our starting setter. Right now we've got Iago Garchette, and Iago is coming in, and he's somebody that has set his entire life. I mean, that's a position that he is comfortable playing, and he's a lot more cerebral, but he's not nearly as physical as Graham was, so there were going to be some differences. We graduated both of our 2 starting middles, Kevin Owens and Matt Lesky. Both of them at one time or another had been All-Americans, so that's a real big change.
Well, it's a little bit different than last year. I feel a lot of it's because just the way I play, the way I scream, and all the different energy. And I think I'm kind of like getting the guys going a little bit more. They're getting more excited, more pumped, and just communicating better, I think.
The biggest difference the team must overcome is finding chemistry with one another.
Well, we have a lot of new guys, and a lot of these guys, they're not as experienced as some of the ones we had, that graduated. So we need to bring something different.
The team mentality and how we relate and how we compete, it's always an ongoing process. I think we've got a really good staff that help our guys continually improve on that as seasons go along.
I like to be the leader, but it's not like a role, like being a leader. It's more like helping the other guys. If I can be that person that's going to help them out, being a leader or not, that's the guy I want to be.
We were picked 5th in our conference, and I think going into the year, that's really where we should have been. I think our team has the ability, though, to surprise a lot of people this year. The way that we've got to do that, though, is we have to beat some of those top 4 teams, and anything that we can do when we're playing on the road, if we can beat those teams in their gymnasium, that's a huge win. Taking care of wins here at home, we have to do that if we're even just going to maintain our 5th place ranking.
We got the talents. We have to work a little harder in practice, to kind of like balance it up to the other teams. But the energy, I think the energy can balance that out in the hardwood.
I feel like this season can't be anything other than surprising, just because our staff and our crowd is getting used to a brand new Ball State men's volleyball team.
we've been practicing hard. You know, I'm not afraid of anybody. I want to play them. You know, I hope we do a good job. I hope we keep getting better and better. And I think we're going to do good. You know, I have a good feeling about us this year. You know, I want to do good so bad, you know, and I'm sure the guys want to. And it's going to be a totally different game, you know.
One way or another, we're going to be a very surprising team. And I think, especially based on how our team performed the first couple of weekends of the season, I think it's going to be a very pleasant surprise.
For Ball State Sports Link, I'm Caitlin Young.
After that 5-1 start in non-conference for Ball State, a lot of promise in 2015, but it's not going to come without a few challenges, as they have two of the top two teams in their country in Loyola and Lewis in the MIVA that they have up on their docket coming up later in January, and as well moving on to February and March. For more from Iago Garchette, his full feature can be found on ballstatesports.com and, of course, Ball State Sports Link's YouTube channel, as told by Andy Wright and Braden Schlegelmelch. Camaraderie is essential on the court in basketball, and perhaps even more important off the floor for Shelby Murder. Here's her story, entitled A Rugged Path, produced by Tyler Bradfield and J.C. Obringer.
Lean not on your own understanding. In all ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs 3. In life, our conditions, roots, and hardships define our path. Some more rugged than others, but each for a purpose. My family's journey has seen many paths, but it has been the strength of our family's bond which defined our legacy. My name is Shelby Murder, and this is my family's story.
Jasper is a small town that takes pride in family, and we're a town that knows everybody.
My entire family lives in Jasper, so we're all right there, really close to each other, and that's why family is so important, I think, to a lot of people in Jasper. As early as I can remember, I've had a ball in my hand. My dad we always shot around out in the driveway. Just a typical story of a Southern Indiana basketball player. You always have a ball in your hand, always wanting to play.
That's basically how Shelby got started, you know, out in the street, out in the yard, out in the playground. Born and raised in Jasper and seeing the tradition and watching her grow up, and they threw her in as a freshman. They saw a little bit in her and she took off with it.
Years before my career or any of my sectional titles, it was another number 33 who planted the roots for our family's legacy.
It was great, just growing up, Hoosier hysteria, and, you know, Friday nights, packed gym. We used to sneak in the gyms just to get, we were little kids, you know, that's how you get started.
That was always the joke in Jasper: if you give the ball to the murder, you'll never give it back.
Before every game, he's like, just remember, Shelb, I was a superstar. Almost like, don't let us down. I felt like I was a part of something in the community. I was building something. I was a part of building a tradition in Jasper, and that was really important to me.
The city of Jasper has seen its fair share of rainstorms for the past 2 to 3 weeks, but the school superintendent says it might have been last night's rain that contributed to the gym roof's collapse.
We've lost our facility. It can be replaced, but the potential for the loss of lives that were there would not be.
The night before, they had prom in there, and it collapsed at 3 o'clock in the morning. And we could have buried 400 kids. We were so lucky. There wasn't one person in that gym.
The gym was a loss heading into my junior season, but community members helped to refurbish Cabby O'Neill Gymnasium. Having not held a game since 1977, we suited up to revisit the historic home of Jasper.
Murder on the right wing to Welp. Welp, 3-point territory to Murder. Murder reverses to Sternberg. Back to Ware. Baseline. Murder drives baseline. Up and in.
We were fortunate to have a community that put the money into it to make it a place that made my junior and senior year really memorable. As construction resurrected our collapsed gym, It set the path for our family and for future Jasper stars.
I played the same as Shelby. Mostly 5. I'm the tallest girl on our team right now.
Riley looks, acts, does everything like Shelby, and she gets called Shelby and Jasper all the time.
We post a lot of pictures on Instagram together, and all the comments are like, twins, like, there's your little twin.
We have the same personality and stuff. Like, I can relate to her in many, many ways.
While the path has been smooth for some, others are more rugged. The inspiration for our careers has not come easy, or by choice.
In our family, we're always like, we're doing that for Carly. And yet she's very strong. She's my strong kid.
People ask me like why you play, and it's because she can. And I think that's like a huge motivator for me.
Every time Riley and Shelby are on the basketball court, I wish I could be out there.
I walked in the bathroom, and she was on the ground having a seizure. And I got scared and stuff, but because I've like never seen her before like having a seizure. So just like seeing her on the ground and stuff made me like panic.
Affecting under 1% of Americans, epilepsy is a chronic brain disorder causing repeated seizures. My younger sister Carly, at the age of 6, was diagnosed.
She will tense up and she'll fall, and then she'll start seizing, and she'll start like foaming at the mouth, turning blue, like there's no oxygen.
All you can do is hold their hand, hope they come out of it. 10 minutes later, they come out of it, and they don't know what happened. They have no idea.
The seizures, coupled with a rare foot disorder, forced Carly to give up playing the game of basketball. But she refused to let it remove her completely.
She's a manager now. She's a manager for basketball and volleyball. She loves it. Just being part of the team. It's great.
I mean, it was difficult. Like, I started crying, and then I was like, well, then I should just be a manager, because I still wanted to be a part of the team.
She was my manager my senior year, so that was really cool to get to, be on the bench with her. She was always just like right there whenever I needed her.
During those 2 years, Carly and I shared the Jasper bench. But then the path of my life also changed. A noticeable lump developed in my throat.
They were going to do a biopsy of the cyst to make sure it wasn't cancer. I was in surgery. My parents were out there waiting for 3 hours, just waiting to figure out if I had cancer or not.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. It wasn't cancer, but through trips to a speech pathologist, I discovered the next path in my life.
With that surgery, I found the career I know I was meant to do. I'm very fortunate to find a career like speech pathology. Once basketball's done, that's my new identity with my career that I love so much.
Shelby is so important to me because she's like a role model. She sticks up for the family.
Just look at her and you'll be happy. She's always smiling and stuff.
Watching them grow up and really having her lead that charge as the oldest sibling, and I can't wait to see how she takes that and runs with it here in 5 to 10 years.
If that doesn't strike a chord emotionally, I'm not sure what will. The rumor is even back in our control room, a couple of tears being shed as well. As the Murder family continues to inspire each other, they inspire us as well. As you can see here, Carly Murder, very appreciative of the work that Tyler and JC put into the story. And of course, to the Murder family, we asked for a lot of their time to put that story together, and we appreciate their cooperation as well. And oh, by the way, Shelby getting it done on the hardwood as well. Had a career high in mid-January against Akron as Ball State beat the Zips for the first time since 2009. Speaking of success in the women's basketball program, Natalie Fontaine was a second-team All-Mid-American Conference selection last year, and she's on pace to become one of the top scorers in Ball State women's basketball program history. Here's her I Play For You, an edition produced by Noah Reed, J.C. Obringer, and Zach McClusack.
Distance does not define me. It strengthens me. A work ethic ingrained in me. From my fellow countrymen. Continues to inspire me in the United States. Most would fold. Pack it in and give up. Records have fallen. Banners have been hung. There are more to come. I am not satisfied. One and 0 each game. Victories are my motive. For my teammates. I persevere for the name on the front of my jersey. For my family. I play for the name on my back.
Jag är Natalie Fontaine och jag spelar för dig.
Not only has Natalie led Ball State to back-to-back NITs in her first 2 years in the Cardinal program, but of course the individual honors coming in as well. All-MAC freshman performer in her season 2 years ago, and also this year a preseason All-Mid-American Conference first-team selection. This year, on a torrent pace, 16 points per game, leading the team again. She could become the all-time leading scorer when everything is all said and done. And by the way, Ball State, they're starting off the season pretty strong. Another string of stretches for Ball State sports here in the winter season where they've started out strong, 5-1 to start Mid-American Conference play. That's the first time they've done that since they went to their first WNIT in 2013. Speaking of successful Ball State athletes, 5 were inducted into the Hall of Fame on January 23rd, but that wasn't the only big announcement at that banquet. There was another one, and for more on that, receive this message from head football coach Pete Lembo.
In April 2013, Ball State officials announced the launch of the Cardinal Commitment Capital Campaign. This ambitious effort sought to raise $20 million by the end of 2014. Its goal was to improve our athletic facilities in order to be more competitive with our peers in the Mid-American Conference. But its purpose was more than that. Cardinal Commitment was really about developing champions. It wasn't just about building an athletic program that consistently competes for conference championships. It was a way to show our student athletes how dedicated we are to their success, not only in their sport, but also in the classroom and in their total campus experience. So tonight we celebrate surpassing our goal, but we also look forward to the even greater accomplishments of our student athletes, and we take great pride in the impact that we've had on their success.
Safe to say that Hall of Fame weekend on January 23rd was a success. Not only did we induct 5 people into the Ball State Hall of Fame, including former MLB first-round draft pick Brian Bullington, but also Kate Endrist out of the basketball program. On the women's side, it took 1,200 alumni, friends, and former student athletes, but with the Cardinal Commitment Campaign, that goal of $20 million was finally reached, a step in the right direction for keeping up in the Mid-American Conference as far as facilities are concerned. Don't forget to follow us on social media for everything Ball State Athletics and Ball State SportsLink. We're on Twitter and Instagram at BSU SportsLink, and of course on Facebook.com. As long as you search Ball State SportsLink, I'm sure you'll be able to find us. Looking at the show, we look back at Xavier Turner with episode 4 of Out of the Shadows. You can check your local listings as episode 4 is on Fox College Sports and also on ballstatesports.com. Men's volleyball off to a hot start. We took a look at Joel Walton and Iago Garchette, and of course with the Ball State women's basketball program with Shelby Murder and Natalie Fontaine. A great episode wouldn't be possible without our executive producer, J.C. Obringer, everybody out on the floor running cameras, and everybody back in the control room as well. This has been Ball State Sports Links Driven. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you in February.